Orpheus, don't go!
Eurydice, Eurydice.
What did it say?
Eurydice, the woman Orpheus loved. Orpheus and Eurydice, two names that will always belong together. Two people who loved each other even beyond the shadow of death itself. Orpheus was the son of Calliope, one of the 9 muses who sang to the gods on Mount Olympus. She was the muse of poetry and music, and her son became the greatest musician the world had ever known. For the sake of his music, Jason took Orpheus on the quest for the Golden Fleece. His lyre could soothe the waves themselves.
His lyre?
This is a lyre, the lyre of Orpheus. Orpheus had a kingdom in Thrace, in the far north of Greece, where the olive trees are bent by the wind. And when he came home from his travels, and was once again among his people, he sat upon the stones at the edge of the forest and played. It was the beginning of spring, but there had been no rain for 2 months. Danced, and as their bare feet hit the stones, you would have said the stones were moving as they danced. Not just the stones. As the king played on, his music seemed to weave into the sounds of the hillside, as if the bird's song and the river fall, the goat's bells and the wind in the grasses had been brought into being by his playing.
Makes you want to move.
When Orpheus played, the whole world wanted to move. It seemed that the roots of the trees would haul themselves up from the earth and dance to his rhythm. His music gave them new life, for as he played, the rain started to fall. Children tugged at their mother's arms and whispered, "Persephone, Persephone, Persephone," for while they danced, the goddess who dances in the spring came among them. His music stirred the natural world, and the earth sound spoke to him. One day he was walking in the wilderness beyond the farms, listening to the sound of the wind in the trees. And then it was one sound that drew him. It came from an alder tree. It was the wood nymph, Eurydice, and his music had brought her into the world of men.
I'm Orpheus. Orpheus. I have sung storms to sleep I have made the clashing rocks move away from our ship. I have been to the end of the world and seen things more terrible, more beautiful than I thought could be. But you... Listen to the silence. Is that what you hear?
Phew.
Say your name. Say your name to me, and I'll pick it out of the air, and I'll make a tune of it, and I'll give it back to you, more beautiful than you.
Eurydice.
Eurydice, 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 Eurydice. Eurydice.
That was how he led her back to his people, walking before her in the wilderness, playing as he went, like a child with a new gift to show his parents. And as he looked back at her, she smiled for happiness.
Ah, what a beautiful story.
I'm afraid it isn't over yet. Sometimes a story doesn't end with two people falling in love. It starts there.
So she went back into the tree?
No. They were married. They lived together all that spring and summer. Eurydice loved Orpheus and he loved her, as if there never had been love before they met, and never would be love afterwards.
Why are you looking over there? You miss the forest.
No. I'm looking towards the trees. Sometimes the wind moves them and I hear noises that call me. The way you did once.
Orpheus wanted to keep her away from the untrimmed trees and the ragged depths of the forest because he knew who was there.
Who was?
Centaurs, fauns, satyrs, creatures given up to pleasure, hairy and unpredictable.
Like me.
Hairy, anyway. And out there in the forest of Thrace was Aristios himself, who lopes in and out of the deepest woods. The corn was ripe, the branches were heavy with fruit, and the men and women of that country gathered in the harvest and danced a grateful dance to the goddess Demeter. But Eurydice was drawn to the wilderness.
Who's there?
Aristias.
I can see you.
Hello. Ooh, I'm a massive, unscratchable itch. Oh, shake a leg. Oh, if there was a wall I could get up against, if there was a rough place I could rub up against and have a really good itch. Oh, I'm all itch. Can you scratch my itch? Go on, just give me. Oh, yeah, it's great. Oh, lovely, yeah.
Let go.
Nice charm. Go on.
Who are you?
I'm a goat. I'm a man. I'm the brother of Pan.
Oh!
I'm the brother.
Oh!
I'm a goat. I'm a man.
Aristias meant her no harm, but as she ran through the forest, a snake bit her hand.
Eurydice?
Satyrs understand only pleasure.
Eurydice.
In the face of pain, they are like children alone in the dark.
I'm a goat. I'm a man. It wasn't me. Just a snake. Just a snake.
Eurydice. Speak to me. Eurydice.
Don't leave me!
But her eyes just stared past him and her mouth gaped as wide as a grave. He took his wife in his arms and carried her out of the forest to where his people were still dancing, and his words chilled their hearts.
Eurydice is dead.
We will give her body to the woods laid out for harvest fires. And when we have done with our lament, I will break my lyre. For since she is dead, there will be no more music.
Bring her back! Don't let her die. Help me. Please help me. You can do it. Your music can do anything, can't it? Make it bring her back. Use this to bring her back. Please, you must help me.
Zeus and the immortals, hear me! I, who have calmed the seas and made rocks move with my music, I will charm death himself.
We'll go down to Hades and bring her back.
Do you hear me? I will bring her back from the arms of death himself!
And so, armed only with his music, Orpheus went down into the underworld, a land from which no one has ever returned. There is almost no sound in Hades.
They have a dog there, don't they?
They have a three-headed dog, Cerberus, if you must know. But this isn't a story about dogs. This is the story of Orpheus, who went down into Hades itself to bring back his loved one. He picked his way down towards the river Styx, the river you must cross to reach the underworld. And there below he saw his wife, walking towards Charon, the ferryman of Hades.
One oboe. Drink.
Eurydice, don't drink!
This is the water of mythe. The water that makes you forget. Everyone must drink it. It's sweet.
Eurydice!
Can't you feel all those painful things going?
Eurydice didn't turn as the boat drifted off through the mists. Orpheus could only wait for the ferry to return, knowing there was no other way across.
One oboe. The crossing is one oboe. No oboe, no crossing.
Charon, Charon.
The boat, it moved.
I know.
The souls of the dead have no weight. Your hands, they're warm.
I'm alive.
Yes. Your lips, your skin.
Charon, Charon.
I haven't heard music. Oh, I don't know, so long. Doesn't it soothe you, Asa? Huh?
Reaching the far side of the river, Orpheus stumbled on through the cold marshes, with Eurydice gliding ahead of him, always just out of reach. He called to her, but as he did so, the mists rolled back before his eyes. And there in front of him was Hades, the king of the underworld, with Persephone, his queen, by his side.
Who comes uninvited to my kingdom?
I am Orpheus, king of Thrace, son of Calliope.
And what does King Orpheus seek from Hades?
The soul now before you in judgment. Eurydice, my wife.
No soul returns from my kingdom.
Love is stronger than death.
Nothing is stronger than death, little musician.